Okay, fifth grade distance learners. This is Mr. Vinzant, your art teacher, and I hope you all are doing well and that you're happy and safe. Tomorrow is our Resource Wednesday for fifth grade, and I wanted to share with you the lesson that we'll be making in the art room for all fifth graders. This lesson will continue on for a couple of classes, so we're not going to be able to get it done in one day. But this lesson is a quick review in warm and cool colors. We've talked about warm and cool colors before, and I want to remind you that warm colors are different shades of red, pink, yellow, and orange. Cool colors are different shades of green, blues, and purples, including teal. So this project, we're going to make I'll just show you. This is going to be a little bit technical. We're going to make a grid background, but the first thing we have to start with is a circle up towards the top of the page. Now, if you have a compass, you can use a compass to make your circle, and if you don't have a compass, any object will work that's the right size. You do not want your circle to be too big. Now, this is an old potato salad container that I've had in the art room forever, but we use everything here, and this comes in handy for this particular lesson. So what I've done is I've made a large circle at the top of my paper. You can use any object to do this that you have available. You don't want the circle too big that it takes up the whole page. You definitely want it to fit in the top part of the page, not the middle and not the bottom. Now the next thing we have to do is make a grid on this page. This is where it gets a little bit technical. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a ruler. I'm going to line it up on the edge of the paper, and at every inch I'm going to make a little mark with my pencil right on the inch line. I'm going to go down the side of the page and make a little mark here at every inch mark. I'm going to do the same on the other side of the page. I'll make an inch mark all the way down. Okay, I can see those marks clearly. I'm going to do the same for the bottom of the page, and if you want to rotate your page and make it a little bit easier, that's fine. I'm just not doing it because of the way this page is set up with the camera. I'm afraid it'll mess up your view. Anyhow, I'm going to make my marks here all the way across, and I have to go across the top of the page as well and make those marks. So I'm basically lining up the first mark that's on the ruler right at the outside edge of the page, so it's consistent top and bottom, side to side. And I'm going to make my marks here all the way across. And there's not one there. Okay, so now I have these little dots all around my page. Those are going to come in handy in just a minute. Now the next thing we're going to draw is the trunk of a tree and limbs that stay inside the circle. Now this tree isn't going to have any leaves. It's just going to be the trunk and the limbs. Let me draw it so you can see better. I'm going to start right here in the bottom of the circle. I'm going to make a line that comes out a little bit like this. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight because trees are not perfectly straight. I'm going to erase this part of the circle. This is a really neat project when it's all done. Now the limbs we want to look kind of craggly, so I'm going to not use perfectly straight lines, and I'll make a limb that goes right to the edge of the circle here. I'll make another branch right here coming out. Go up like this. Make a branch going this way. Another line coming down, and the branches just make it look a little more interesting. So I have 5 limbs with some different branches. Okay, now what I'm going to do you remember the little lines we made on the edge of the page? I'm going to connect all those lines with the line that's directly across. Now this gets a little bit tricky because you want to make sure visually that you're making straight lines and not connecting with the wrong one. This is my mark here, so I don't want to connect with the second one. I want to make sure I'm connecting with the top. Here's another trick, or another catch I should say. You cannot draw over the tree. You can draw into the circle but not over the tree. Let me just start tracing these lines so you can see. I'm going to start right here. I'm going to connect these first lines together. There's one. This one is going to go into the circle but not through the tree. So I have to skip over the tree and draw in between any branches. Just making sure I'm lined up with the right dots, because one crooked line makes this whole thing look funny. Now I cannot draw any lines in the tree, especially the trunk, so I will be connecting here, and even though these little dots are down in the trunk, I need that to make sure this line goes straight down to where I can't draw the line anymore, which is right there. I'm going to connect these two. This takes a little while to lay out, but it looks really neat when we start coloring it. I can't make any more lines because that's in the trunk of the tree. Make sure I'm connected here. When you're making a straight line with a ruler, we've gone over this before if you were here in years past, but you always want to hold the ruler firmly with one hand, and when you make your lines with the pencil, you want the pencil going the same direction as the ruler. If it's pointing against the ruler, it could push the ruler and make the line shift and go crooked, and that wouldn't look so good for this project. Alright, I'm skipping over those branches, and I'm going to go right here and connect these guys. Okay, those are my vertical lines. Now in order to make this a little bit easier for you to see and for me to make the lines, I'm going to rotate the paper, and I'm going to connect the lines going this direction without going through any branches. Okay, I'm getting tangled up in the cord here. This is all new and different, but we're going to make it work. There we go. Continue on. Hopefully that cord's not in the way. No, you can see just fine. Okay, here we go through the branches. Or around the branches, I should say. Through the circle. And this is what we would call a grid. And a grid is usually all squares that are the same size going across a page. And these squares happen to be 1 inch all the way around. So we have a little bit of math here, a little bit of art, and a combination of the two makes a really neat work of art. Okay, we're going along here, almost done, going along this way, and last one, skipping over the trunk. Alright, let me turn this back. Now, we have our tree that fits inside of that circle, and the grid covers the entire background going around the tree. Now, here's where the warm and cool colors come into play. You can use warm or cool colors to color the background inside the circle, just inside the circle. If you choose warm colors to color the background, then on the outside you're going to have to use cool colors, the opposite. If you choose cool colors for the background in here, or actually, I'm sorry, if you choose warm colors here, these will be cool. If you choose cool colors here, these outside squares will be warm. We're going to leave the tree the way it is for now until we get the whole grid colored. Now I've started coloring a grid here. This circle is a little bit smaller, so the tree is smaller. I'd like the bigger circle, honestly, I gotta tell you. But here I've started coloring this one, and as you can see, I've been using cool colors in the background around the tree and warm colors outside of the circle. Now after I get this whole background colored, all the cool colors filled in and all the warm colors filled in, then we're going to put some designs in the tree. Okay? I do want to point out that when you start coloring inside the circle, there's some little slivers. This square right here, say I was using dark green, well, it continues right with this little sliver here, so you got to watch out for those things. Okay? Now once you get the whole background colored, you can use a black marker if you have one, and we're just going to put some really simple free-flowing lines in this tree, like this. We're also going to use the black marker to completely outline all the tree branches as well as the trunk, so it really stands out. But we want the tree just to be black and white. We're not going to worry with coloring it. We're just going to use these lines to decorate it. The reason why we don't want to color it and just leave it black and white is because we don't want it to compete with all the colors that are in the background, your warm and cool colors. If you'd like to trace over the circle, you can do that as well, carefully. You can put your tracing device, whatever you use to trace, back over it if you need, or you can trace right over it freehand until the entire tree and circle are outlined. Alright, I'm continuing on here. And I know you guys are anxious to get started if you haven't started already, so I will not go through outlining the entire circle right now, but you can keep adding lines inside these limbs here. I've even seen people add some like little swirls to change it up. Actually, that looks like a G. Let me try around this way. We'll make it bigger, like an @ symbol maybe. You can use any type of little designs in here to decorate the tree. And that is what we're working on today and the next resource 5th grade Wednesday that we have together. If you have any questions, feel free to email me through Schoology, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. And please, if you have any completed projects or you just want to show me your progress, I would love to see any pictures of what you're doing at home. All right, Manatees, be safe at home, and hopefully we'll see you soon.